So, what I've found is an importance in getting a fuller picture on a person before actually committing to spending the rest of my life with them, essentially. It's one thing for a person to be kind and nice and patient when they like you or when things are great. I think what's really proving, though, is when this person can uphold those same principles on days when they're having a hard time, or you're being frustrating, or they don't like you right now. Can they still maintain the same principles that they showed to you at the beginning of the relationship when things were great? I think the evidence of a person's character is shown most accurately when this person is uncomfortable. This is why I've come to really value dating. Maybe, I guess a better term might be courting a person, because it's integral that we allow ourselves time and space and opportunity to see how a person shows up in different dynamics, in different scenarios, in different atmospheres. It's important that you not only see a person when there is initial interest and desire and attraction. It's important that you see a person you like on their bad days. It's important that they see you on your bad days. It's important that you see how you guys handle disagreement and conflict, because these are the things that reveal a more holistic picture and understanding of who this human being is, to then make an informed decision on whether or not we can move forward into a committed relationship. And I know this doesn't sound like butterflies. This doesn't sound like love, I guess, in the intimate and dreamlike way that we have idealized. And I personally am a hopeless romantic, so I would never get away from the importance in having these moments. Love is supposed to be something that enamors you. It should be something that, I don't know, it inspires you. It makes you want to be a better person. It has its effect. It makes the world brighter. Love can make life really feel like a dream, and these are not things to ignore. These are not things to avoid. These are not things to discount or discredit. I think these things are amazing. At the same time, I think love is all of those things and more. I've come to find, and I've said before, that love in its purest form is a decision, because all of what I just described are feelings, and feelings are very valid, and feelings are actually necessary and a pillar of relationships. There's no point in being in a relationship with a person who doesn't invoke feelings out of you, because we're human beings. It's a integral part of our existence and who we are. Feeling is one of the most amazing gifts I think God could have given to us as his creation. You know what I'm saying? So it's important, it's integral, it's necessary, it's amazing. But there's more even still, because in the same way that there are feelings that are positive and uplifting and immersive in a positive way, there are also feelings that are hard. There are feelings of sadness, there are feelings of discontentment, there are feelings of depression, of anger, of resentment, of doubt. These things are also feelings too, which will come up naturally in the same way that all the lovey-dovey and amazing feelings will come. And so then, if we can acknowledge that all of these feelings are valid and all of these feelings are necessary, then we have to then approach love in a way that allows room for all of these feelings. And I think that's where decision comes in, because what decision says is, despite how I'm feeling, I'm still going to maintain certain principles and certain values that I have promised you. Whether or not I like you today or in this moment, I'm still going to do my best to exhibit patience and understanding and care and gentleness. I'm still going to do my best to listen and love you despite or in spite of how I may feel right now. And this is where conflict can be a very beneficial thing, because what conflict will reveal is how well you guys respond to these more quote unquote negative feelings. Are you still able to maintain a certain character, or I should say a heart posture, in the midst of these situations? Now the question then is, how do we deal with conflict when our emotions are rising, when I'm feeling frustrated and angry and upset or unheard? How do we actually deal with conflict in a healthy way? What I've come to find is that in any dynamic, whenever an issue comes up in our relationship, we have to remain on the same team. We can't allow an issue to come and set us against each other, because what will then happen is that instead of resolving the conflict together, we'll be busy trying to win a battle against each other. So what I find to be the ideal is that in a committed relationship, or even as you're getting to know someone, the idea is that when a conflict comes, we approach the conflict together, regardless of how personal it may be to either side, whether it's you're in the fault or I'm in the wrong, or it's an external thing that none of us can control. We have to remain on the same side and approach it together, because from that perspective, then we go into this with the desire to come out of it resolved, to come out of it with growth. We don't go into conflict with the desire to win, or desire to prove you wrong, or the desire to be bigger than the other person. We go into it understanding that if I hurt you, then that's compromising us as a unit, which ends up hurting me. I think this is like the idea of becoming one, where the Bible talks about becoming two people becoming one flesh. It's realizing that you two start to exist on the same boat, on the same island. And so whatever it is that you do has to be beneficial for the overall unit, for the overall team. So when conflict comes up, then we have to go to it with already having in our minds that this will not break us. And I say us because it can't be one person who's going into this with the desire to resolve a conflict, but the other person is halfway ready to leave. It has to be both of us who are fully committed to preserving this relationship, which would mean then that we would engage this in a healthy way to preserve our values. It means that then I wouldn't take conflict as an opportunity to put you down. I would take conflict as an opportunity to better understand you and your patterns and where they're coming from, so that we can resolve them together, so that we will strengthen the overall unit and the bond that we have, and how we show up in whatever it is that we're doing, be it business or life or whatever it is, or even me as a person. Like, the idea is that we will remain together and we will work through this together. It's something that I'm finding a lot of value in recently. It's something that I look forward to in my relationships. Disagreements and conflicts and issues, I look forward to them now, because I know that if we can handle this and respond to this in a healthy way, then it will only further help me to understand you and deepen our bond, because you understand me in more layers and my needs in certain situations, and the same for you. And then we can grow from it and become even more in tune and more aligned and understand each other even more, which is, I think, what we want at the end of the day in a lot of cases. It's just to be understood. And this is why I always say it's so important that when we get in relationships, we get in relationships with people who were already heading towards the destination that we're moving towards, because that would mean then that both sides are personally involved in their own growth and healing process. What I can then do is serve as a helpmate. I can help you along that journey in the areas where you may not be able to help yourself, or where it may be more difficult to help yourself. But it shouldn't be a situation where I have to force or persuade or coerce you to be the version of yourself that I envision you being in my life, and vice versa. It should be that We are both on this journey, and we spent enough time before we got together to recognize that we're heading in the same direction. And now all we're doing as a team is walking there together and helping each other along the path towards the destination.